There's been a major shift during this parliamentary term about which sectors of the community are represented by the major political parties. The working class have abandoned Labor. The Liberal Party is no longer the party of the establishment, and there's no longer any difference between their climate and immigration policies either. It all spells trouble for the majors for mine and a spike in support at the ballot box for independence. The result, who exactly knows, but the parliament is most likely to be dictated to by loud minorities with boutique and left-leaning policies. To analyse where Australian politics is at 4 months out from this federal election, I'm joined now by Lincoln Parker, the Liberal Party's Chair of Defence and National Security Policy. Lincoln, good to have you with us. We're witnessing what could be described as a real seismic shift in the political heartlands of the major parties, aren't we?
That's exactly right, Chris. And what you said was very true. But what I would say is that the Labor Party has left the working class, not the working class leaving the Labor Party. And we've seen this shift worldwide, in fact. You see in the United States where the Democratic Party was the party of unions and Labor and working class. Well, they are no longer the party of the working class. The elites, the establishment, the big tech and big media are all now backing the Democrat Party. And that's very similar to what we've seen here, where the Labor Party sort of left the working class a long time ago. And now who is representing the Labor Party? The working class. And so it's really left up to the Liberal Party, which I'm very proud of, that we are now representing the working class, the average mum and dad, and all of the people that once thought that Labor represented them when in fact they no longer do, because as you mentioned, the Michael Sexton in The Australian wrote an article saying Liberals no longer party of the establishment. And that's absolutely right.
And even today we're seeing evidence of the Labor Party moving away further from their base. Like today, Anthony Albanese dropped this idea of further taxes on higher income earners. That's not the Labor Party we recognise.
No, it certainly isn't. It's not the Labor Party of Hawkey and even Keating, although he's turned a little bit strange as he's gotten older. But I just don't know who the Labor Party is representing. And I'm sort of happy about that in one sense because I'm a Liberal Party member. But at the same time, I think we need to be going out there as a Liberal Party and saying, look, we represent the working class and here are our policies. We're going to represent you on jobs, on the economy, on jobs for you, on jobs for your children, certainly in education, on health, healthcare, transport, and national security. What does Labor and especially the independents, who are essentially one-issue candidates, how is that representative of an electorate? You take the Warringah electorate, which is where I'm from. What has Zali Steggall done in 3 years? Do you feel that you've been adequately represented? I highly doubt that. So what I would say, Chris, is I actually worked the booths at the local government election just a little while ago. And what I found was quite interesting. I think we actually saw a swing back to the government and away from independence. And I think that's telling because we've seen Zali Steggall is sort of the litmus test. Over the last 3 years, she's really delivered nothing for Warringah at all. She's put no bills, no legislation through the Parliament. She's voted with Labor in the Australian Parliament 63% of the time. So what have you got? What has your money got for you?
Very true. When I see so many former Liberal Party supporters write that I'm abandoning the Morrison government, they've abandoned me. What do they think they're doing on climate change, etc.? I'm going to vote independent. But the stupidity of that is you vote for an independent and you'll get a left-leaning independent that has a second preference for Labor.
Well, that's exactly right. Because, look, if you're interested in climate change, vote for the Liberal Party because the Liberal Party is the only party that has done anything on renewables and climate change and beaten the targets that we've set and agreed to than any other party. So if you're going to vote for these extremists, and that's what they are, Chris, these independents are one-issue candidates. They are funded by the elite. They are funded by the climate change investors who stand to gain from pro-climate change and renewable technology implementation. So that's all they're about. They're only about one issue, and I think voters are seeing that, particularly here in Warringah.
I think voters also need to go back to 2010 and remember when Gillard signed that alliance with Bob Brown, the independents had the balance of power, and how shockingly dysfunctional that was. If you want that again, or go ahead and vote for independence.
Well, that's right. We just cannot afford that as a country. We need to have stable government, and traditionally, Australians have voted Conservative governments in because they're very good at managing the economy and managing all of the issues that are important to Australians. Now, we're in a very difficult time in Australia. We've got to come out of this pandemic. We've got to make sure that we've got jobs and employment and healthcare and transport, and let's not forget national security and defence. And the independents couldn't care less about any of those issues. All they care about is climate change. And then obviously, as you said, they're going to do deals with the Labor government, and you're going to have dysfunction.
Yeah, I'm appreciative of your time tonight. Thank you, Lincoln.
Happy New Year.